Hello cuties, welcome to yet another episode of Brown Girl Unscripted. And as always, we have another guest. Her name is Khulan Davaadorj. She is the founder and CEO of lhamour, an organic Mongolian skincare brand. Welcome to Brown Girl Unscripted, Khulan.
Thank you so much for having me.
How is your day going? Tell us.
Very busy. I woke up at 7, had a call with Africa actually.
Okay, period.
I know, at 9. Walked here, but I'm so happy to be in New York. It's amazing.
Yeah, I love that. So to give you guys a bit of a backstory, Khulan and I met yesterday, and we were both at She Innovates.
Yes.
Yeah, She Innovates. And she was actually one of the keynote speakers there. And we just connected briefly after during one of the happy hours. And suddenly she's on my podcast. And it all happened so fast. So if you're ever in doubt of going to an event or just like talking to people and being natural, just do it. Because we were just having a normal conversation and brought up my podcast. And now she's on here. So
well, it's always saying why not, you know?
Exactly. I'm so for it. But Khulan, so we know you have this beautiful skincare empire that you're building, but tell us a little bit more about who you were before you built this and like what that girl's aspirations were.
Well, to be honest, I never thought in my whole life that I would ever have a skincare line or like just even becoming an entrepreneur. It just kind of happened like honestly without even anticipating. So when I was really young, I grew up in Europe, and I thought being successful would mean working for a huge company, potentially like an international organization like the UN.
Yeah.
And I actually made my dream come true when I did an internship in New York at the UN headquarters, and
Ticked it off.
I realized it was everything I wanted, but it was not me. So when I was doing that internship, I was too fast, I was too creative, I was too ambitious, and I did things like, I don't know, within a few hours, and I was supposed to do it like a whole day or something. So I realized, I think that was the point where I thought, okay, maybe I'm more of the like creative person, entrepreneur person. But that was just like, okay, I realized what I don't want. So I still didn't know what I want to do in my life. I always wanted to do social impact projects. So I always used to volunteer at different kind of like NGOs and stuff like that. And then I got accepted to Columbia University, which kind of changed my whole life because first of all, I never just imagined studying in New York, and at Columbia University. It was a big surprise to me because I got a scholarship, and just by being here, it was amazing. You know, I think New York has this vibe. It's like so energetic. It makes you like really, think about yourself, I guess. Even when you're walking, it's like people are just like kind of pushing you, and you're just like, okay, what am I doing with my life? And I was kind of like in those movies where I just came to New York and I was just astonished. And I think at like, I don't know, Times Square or somewhere. And I was just like standing there like, wow, this is all immense, I was like overwhelmed. And then after going to Columbia, I was actually like, it was more the students were like fascinating me because I did my master's in renewable energy public policy, and I was one of the youngest in my 20s, and everybody like was so accomplished, but not accomplished in the sense they had a lot of money or they owned a company, but in the sense that they created something so meaningful. They created impact, they helped villages, and they helped different kind of communities. And I think that was kind of the starting point of me questioning my life and thinking about, okay, what really makes me happy? And I was thinking that really the happiness that I feel is like from creating impact and helping others. So that was kind of the starting point of why I really wanted to do something back in Mongolia, because all my life I lived in Europe and I didn't really live in Mongolia. So I really wanted to create an impact in Mongolia. And I went to Mongolia to work for Mongolia's first wind farm. And that was kind of this wow moment for me where I felt, okay, I can make a change. Because actually at that time, the CEO of that wind farm, he wrote to me through LinkedIn.
Oh.
And I didn't really understand it. And at that time, I mean, that this is like 12 years ago or 13 years ago, I thought it was even spam, you know, like I deleted it. And then he wrote to me again and he was like, hey, we really need people, like, even though you're just a new graduate, for Mongolia, you're already like kind of somebody that understands renewable energy. We don't have many people that do. So even though you're a newly graduate, you can actually come and make a change. So he asked one question, which I think was like also the ultimate like kind of change maker for me, because he was like, do you really want to stay in the States and just be like a newly graduate and be like a newbie, you know, in like a huge corporate system where you have to, you know, work so hard and so many years until you're actually some kind of manager? Or you want to come back to this developing country, which, you know, is now changing so rapidly and we don't have many people. So that's why even like this newly graduate could be so impactful. And I think I literally was like sitting there for 3 days and just thinking about what I really want to do. And then I just packed my suitcase, put my apartment for rent on Craigslist, and like went with one suitcase back to my home country. And usually it's the other way around.
Yeah.
And it was very new to me. Everything was new. It was quite a culture shock. I felt a bit weird about everything, but he was right. So I did feel like, even though I'm a new graduate, it was very challenging, and I did a lot of challenging things. But then, I mean, I had allergy for the first time in my life, and I started getting eczema, I guess just because the environmental like change was affecting me in such a very harsh way that, you know, my body's immune system was kind of affected by that.
Yeah.
And then it was just like, okay, why am I getting eczema? What's happening to me? Why do I have to, you know, even care about this? And that was kind of the starting point of me thinking about organic skincare.
Yeah. I love that. No, I think that it makes sense that it comes from a personal frustration. What kind of steps did you take to go from working at the wind farm to then being like, I want to start my own thing? Like, did you start while you were at the job, or like, what did that look like?
So I think there was also a lot of events that happened that kind of led me to it, because that CEO, he like, you know, they changed him. So the new CEO was like the typical kind of, I'm the boss, you're the like young girl.
Yeah.
And I was like actually doing such important things in the beginning, and then later on he literally just made me like I don't know, translate stuff, and he was like, okay, I'm gonna go to this meeting, you know. So I mean, I didn't do all this for just being a translator and being like a nothing. So it kind of like really irritated me. Yeah. And I think that was the starting point of, again, me thinking, okay, this is what I don't want to do. I don't want to just waste my time being in an office, like translating. I mean, after all I've been through, you know. So I was like, no, I need to do something really impactful. And so I think it all like aligned when exactly this eczema thing happened, when I was having this like question, you know. I was like, what do I want to do? I really want to do something impactful, but I didn't know what it is. So I didn't even think of it as anything. Like, I didn't even think of it as becoming a company. So it was just my personal problem. And I got really passionate about it, because I usually get very passionate about things. So I was starting to like research about it. I was starting to research about the skin, about what to do when having eczema, about what to use. And then when I couldn't find organic skincare, it was like, okay, where do I get it? And then so my parents at that time were living in Germany, and I was like, please send me like some products. And they sent me random products. And then one day, actually, they sent me this sea buckthorn facial like cream. And I was like, why do I have to order sea buckthorn facial cream from Germany when literally sea buckthorn grows all over Mongolia, and we have it in various forms. We make juice out of it, we make candy out of it, like we use it on a like almost all the time. It's such a good immune booster. It's so good during the winter, and it grows everywhere, and literally it even grows in our backyard, you know. So I was like, why do I have to order it all the way, and it's like so expensive, and I have to like transport it and like all these things. So I was like, that was kind of the initial question that I asked myself, which then started to become like, okay, what can I do to like mitigate this whole challenge of getting this product all the way from Germany? And then I stumbled upon my studies. So I literally changed my whole profession, became an organic skincare formulator, started making skincare at home with the ingredients, you know, that I found in Mongolia.
Yeah.
And it worked really well for me. I gave it out to friends and family. They were quite intrigued by it. They're like, what? You did this in your kitchen? Like, how come? And what are you doing? I think they thought I was having some like midlife crisis or something.
Oh my God.
Because at that time it was so new, you know, like nobody knew about organic skincare. Nobody was talking about organic skincare. Nobody cared about organic skincare. Yeah. And then having an organic skincare product from Mongolia was on nobody's mind, you know. So everybody was like, what is this and what are you doing? So I created like bath bombs and stuff like that initially. And just because it was so unique in Mongolia, it like really, you know, was kind of inevitable that I started doing that. And then I was almost 8 months at home just figuring things out, making products. I had a little printer where I was printing the packaging, and it was like kind of like very weak, so I had to hold it when I was delivering the product to people so it doesn't like, you know, break. So it was very funny initially, but then I guess at that time, because that's 10 years ago, people didn't really mind, you know, because it was so new. And then after 8 months, I literally started having my first office and production, which was literally the size of this podcast room. And I had 3 people. Wow. And yeah, it really started. Well, I then had robbery. So I had a setback. I know. It was
so sorry.
It was crazy. I came Friday and I was in my office. I was working. And it was the only and first weekend I ever took off. So ever since 8 months, I was working day and night. I was working during my birthday. I was working, you know, on Friday nights. I was working Sunday morning. It was just like I was working all the time.
I get it.
And then finally, this new team that I had literally only 10 days, they're like, you always carry your like computer. Like, why would you do that? You have an office. And I was like, oh yeah, because I was so used to working from coffee shops and stuff like that. And then I was like, okay, why don't I just leave it? And I took the weekend off. And then Monday morning, I come in and the office was empty. And I thought I came to a different room, you know. So I was like, wait, did I come to a different room? And they stole my computer. They stole the new, also people's computers. And I mean, those computers were brand new, so it had nothing on it.
Yeah.
But mine had everything starting from Columbia University.
Oh my God. How did you recover that?
I did not.
Okay.
So at that time, I mean, because again, 10 years ago, I thought the smartest thing I could do was, for example, like uploading the picture from my camera and my phone to the computer. So uploading it then to a drive was at that time, like I didn't know of it or I didn't think of it.
Yeah.
And I think the worst thing was like losing almost 10,000 pictures.
Yeah, no memories. That's tough. Yeah, because you always want to look back on those things. I get it.
Yeah. So that was the most horrible thing. I never got my computer back, to be honest. But after... Okay, crazy story.
Oh my God.
After searching for the thief for a month...
Oh God.
I was looking at the security cameras.
Yeah.
And after searching for a month, and then in the meantime, the team stopped. You know, they all quit. Obviously, who wants to imagine you're at a new job and after 10 days your office gets robbed? You know, who wants to work for something like that? So they're like, no, we don't want to work, blah blah blah. So I was back alone, and then after like looking at the surveillance camera recordings, I literally found the thief myself.
Oh my God, you're a little detective.
Oh my God. And then I went to the police. I was like, okay, I got the thief, because they didn't want to help me because they didn't really care. And they got this person actually from the airport. He was about to fly away.
Oh my God.
I know. And they got the person from a plane.
That is some like real movie shit.
I know. It was like a movie. And this is, imagine the start of lhamour. You know? It's like not even like last one Thursday. It's like how like my company's journey started.
Most people would give up at this point. Like I think so many people, like if they were at that point in their career, the 20s, 30s, even like late teens, they've been like, okay, like this is the sign for me to not do it. Why were you like, I'm gonna find this person and I'm gonna make sure this works out after having this huge setback? Like what made you continue?
No, I think I was just so upset about this whole thing that I was like how, like, okay, I had like phases, honestly. I was like frustrated, I cried, then I was angry, and then I was like, okay, I'm just gonna
stages
like,
of grief.
Yeah, it's like everything happened all at once. But I just think I was like so, I guess I was like, how come you did this to me, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Initially I was like I used to be like kind of dramatic in terms of, oh, all the bad things happened to me and I hate this country, I hate everything. Like I was just kind of blaming everybody.
Yeah.
And then I think it really made me realize that that doesn't work, you know. It's just like I have to just concentrate, try to figure it out, and then try to move forward. Because I already had invested, 8 months, you know, at home for this, and I literally just started. So yeah, for almost 2 months I was questioning whether I'm doing the right thing or not, just because a lot of people were also questioning me. They're like, you know, I don't think you should do it. Like, I don't think this is gonna work out. So, and then literally New Year happened and I was just sitting there and I was like, okay, what's gonna be in my New Year's resolution? And I was like, okay, I invested so much time and effort already into this that I'll just regain my strength. I'll, you know, change the lock.
Yeah.
Things that I can do from my side without blaming others, you know. So I think that was a huge mind shift that I had to go through, that also changed my personality, because I used to be very anxious and very scared, and I used to kind of blame people a lot. But I think that was kind of the starting point of me just trying to figure things out, taking like a challenge, almost like a game, like I have to overcome this in order to go to the next level, kind of thing.
I love that.
And I think once I had that mind shift, it really helped me also to focus and just be more peaceful with myself, you know. So literally, 2015, I restarted everything from scratch with a new computer, I guess. And then, I was just alone again. So I was like, at night I was making, you know, products, and then during the day I was doing all the administrative stuff. And then we started. And because again, it was Mongolia's first organic skincare, and it was so unique because we used very unique ingredients, and really used what the nomads have been using and creating a very modern, hip almost product out of it. Literally within a month it blew like off, you know. We had all the media coming in. We were like on Bloomberg, and we were on all the newspaper and everything. And then ever since that day I just didn't stop anymore.
Of course, I mean Bloomberg, so who would?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love that. And guys, for reference, these are some of her products. She graciously wanted to feature them in the podcast. Like, so cute. I definitely can see how you packaged it into like more modern, like daily usage sort of products, because I mean, I think people right now are also just looking more for organic things versus buying from big companies where like you don't really know what's in the skincare, and there's like weird stuff sometimes. So I get that. Another thing right now I think a lot of girls might struggle with is like, so for you, like you have this super ambitious, successful career. When it comes to relationships and finding someone that kind of supports you, because as they say, as a successful woman, you either have a supportive partner or you don't, right?
Yeah.
And so what has that been like for you, that journey?
It was very tough, honestly. I mean, I've been working so hard, and you know, it's like, I mean, I talk about it with a lot of girlfriends all the time, because there's a lot of like, I guess, struggle when it comes to successful women, because I like, you know, have so many friends as well who are beautiful, successful, ambitious. But then when it comes to the relationship part, it gets tough. I mean, I went through sorts of things as well. It was kind of like that whole robbery thing. So I know. I have a beautiful daughter, but I'm single. So it's like, it's very tough, you know. It's like, you have this dream and ambition and you work really hard, but then you also have to be like for like women, you have to be everything all at once. And it's really, I think, crucial to have a good partner that's very understanding in order for you not to burn out. So I had at one point this whole burning out thing where I was just like, at the end, I was like, I cannot do anything anymore. I was literally in the hospital.
Oh my God.
I was like, okay, I cannot do this anymore. So I think it was also a very huge mind shift for me to really understand that self-love is not it's not something that you should think of as like egoistic, you know. It's something so crucial, especially for women. And it's this whole, so one day actually I was in the States a few years back, like I think 6 years ago, and then I was at this conference where this amazing woman, she had like 7 companies or something, and
okay.
I know, crazy.
Yeah.
And then she was saying how she always puts her like inner peace first, so that she can then be a better person to everybody else.
Yeah.
And then she was saying how, think of it as in the plane when they say put the mask on to yourself when like something happens before helping others. And that also stuck with me as well. And I think that was kind of the turning point of where I learned to really like take deep appreciation into self-love and think about what I really need and all these things. So yeah, I'm in a very happy place right now. I'm honestly like super, I guess, content with myself and with like the way things are. And yeah, I think definitely having a supportive partner is really important. And also this whole like, I believe in a lot of energy. So a good partner, I would say, would even like with the most, let's say, ambitious, successful, or whatever women, they like these supportive partners, they bring out this nice feminine energy, you know, because you hustle so much out in the street, at work, with your team. You cannot be like this, like, you know,
24/7.
Yeah, you cannot. You have to be strong all the time. And then once you get home, it's the only safe space where you should be like, you know, very feminine and very like
relaxed.
Yeah, relaxed. So I think that's really important. And yeah, so definitely supportive partner is very important.
Yeah, no, I think that makes a lot of sense. What was the conference that you went to where you heard her?
Where what?
Like you said you were at a conference where you heard the woman speaking?
Oh, so I was part of the US State Department Fortune 500 women. And so they selected for like kind of aspiring women leaders from all around the world. It was like 20 women, and we were in DC, and then we even went to the White House to meet Ivanka.
Very interesting.
Yeah, so I think that was I think very interesting and amazing to see, because again, you know, like as an entrepreneur or just somebody that wants to create something, it's like it's a lonely path. Like I really don't want to like say it's amazing all the time, because it's usually like very lonely. You have to think about stuff like just for yourself. Nobody will think it for you. There's a lot of things that you have to do which nobody can do for you. So I think it's challenging most of the time, but it's also rewarding. So it's always this back and forth of challenge and reward. And it's so easy, like it gets so easy to get distracted and to get like, you know, to think you're so busy and you're not enough and blah, blah, blah. And even yesterday, this event was just a perfect example of like stepping out of your office, being among like-minded like people, especially women, and feeling that you're on the right track, no matter who you are and no matter where you are. So that conference previously also showed me that, okay, I'm on the right track. There are so many women that have done it before. It's not just me, and they have been, you know, living a good life, and I can do the same. And even yesterday at She Innovates, it was just amazing to see this energy of, you know, you're not alone. It doesn't matter what you do. It's like all these women entrepreneurs, founders, struggling like in their own way, but then when they come together, it's just like amazing energy. So I think conferences like this are very important.
I agree. I would say that's been a big backbone for me as well, like going to those, because it reminds you that you're not insane, you know?
Yes.
Yeah. What has it been like going back to the self-love aspect? Do you like in prioritizing your inner peace and making sure that you're taking care of yourself, and now you have like a daughter as well, like what has that been like? Do you have rituals for that? Like what do you do to prioritize that?
Well, so obviously I'm very busy and traveling a lot and all these things, but definitely really taking time to like just even think about your life, you know, just really taking moments to think about yourself. Sometimes when I get really stressed, I kind of just take a moment to accept myself, because I think that's so crucial. Like the self-love aspect, I think a lot of people talk about it, but it seems to be more of like going to the spa and going or doing your skincare, I mean, which is obviously part of it, but I think it goes like much more deeper into who are you, like what do you want, what do you need, you know, what are your priorities right now. So I think it's really always like kind of checking in with yourself and not being too hard on yourself. Always like, you know, just thinking of yourself as your best friend. So if your best friend would come to you and be like, oh my God, I'm so stressed out, I'm so depressed, you're not gonna say like toughen up, you know, work harder and like be more busier. You're just gonna say, relax, you know, you're amazing, I have faith in you. And I think we don't really do that a lot with ourselves. We're kind of hard on ourselves. So I think...
Especially women.
Exactly, because we have so many responsibilities. And I just think that, I mean, life is too short to, honestly. And you are very unique and you should be happy that you are who you are and that you're actually living, you know? So every day I try to now just be grateful for things I have instead of like I don't know, being stressed about things I don't have. Because honestly, just even yesterday I was thinking to myself when I was on the plane to New York, I was like, I think I'm already successful in the sense that I'm just a Mongolian girl, but then I am coming to New York. I was invited to New York to be a speaker, you know, and I was like, who would have even thought that like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, or like 10 years ago when I was in my kitchen, it wasn't even like on my like plan, you know? So I think just thinking about stuff that you maybe thought 1 year ago and then looking at who you are and what you're doing now, I think that's already very like impactful. So always checking in with yourself. I try to, you know, sometimes really just sit and think, you know, like really just silently think about what I'm grateful for, what I'm happy about. Because I think lately what I really am experiencing is the more positive thoughts I have and the more I kind of just, you know, push away my negative thoughts, honestly, like the more positive things happen to me. And it's kind of the energy you give out, you get back. So the more you like talk bad about yourself or others, or you say like I cannot do it, or oh I don't have this, and you know, all these things, it's, I think the energy also kind of doesn't give you things.
Yeah, energy is real.
Yeah. So,
I think what you mentioned is just manifestation. I don't know do you believe in that? How do you feel about that? Let's talk about that.
Okay, so I started truly believing in it. Okay, I'm still working on it. I don't know how it works. I'm just like, you know, but I think like lately I'm so interested in it, you know, because it's, again, it's this whole like you programming your thoughts so that you give out this energy so that you're more positive and optimistic, and then somehow I guess I feel like it's coming back. So there has to be some correlation. Obviously I cannot explain it, but definitely the last like 2 years I've been strongly like kind of believing in it. I don't even know why, but it just kind of happens. And then the more I believe in it, the more I want to do it. And I mean, even yesterday it was the craziest, you know. So I'm traveling now, right? I'm traveling to like a bunch of cities, to Asia. I'm going to go to Indonesia, then Mongolia, back to Miami, and all these things. And I have so much stuff that my 2 suitcases are full. They're like full. And then so I was telling my mom 2 days ago that I need to get a new suitcase, like an additional one.
Yeah.
And then she was like, yeah, try to get a light one, blah, blah, blah. And then we were literally talking about the suitcase and that I need to get one. Yesterday at this She Innovates event, they had a raffle, and then they had, the prize was a suitcase.
And from a good company too.
I know, it was an amazing, light, super like effective suitcase. And then I literally, I don't know why, I never usually do this, but then I looked at it and I said out loud, I don't even know to who I was talking to, maybe to myself. I literally looked at it and I was like, okay, I really need the suitcase, say 316. And then the lady, she took the piece of paper and she was like 316, and I was like, what?
Oh my god.
And I don't know, it was like I never like win stuff at raffles, you know, but then apparently you're also not supposed to say I never win stuff. So I'm like, okay, I do win things apparently.
Yeah, no, that was an amazing moment. I remember like we were talking about it yesterday and it was like, oh my, like it just happened all right there. Yeah,
I was so happy. I literally called my mom and my friends. I was like, I don't think I was ever happier about winning a suitcase just because I needed one, you know. But I think it was not even about the suitcase. It was just about this whole thought process of I want it, and then somehow the energy was like, okay, you have it, you know.
Exactly.
Amazing. I was so overwhelmed by that.
Yeah. I think that just goes to show the power of what you said, energy you put out and how it comes back.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so Khulan, at the end of each episode, I ask every single guest what they wish they could tell their younger self, like the little girl, 15, 14-year-old. What would you tell little Khulan?
So I would honestly really just say don't be scared, because I used to be, I guess, very anxious and scared about a lot of things in my life. But now that I'm in my 30s, we're late 30s, and I have my company and I'm like traveling the world, I just realized you only have one life, so live it to the fullest. Don't compare yourself to anybody because it's your life. The more you compare yourself to others, the more you get stressed out. But then the only thing or only person you have to compare yourself to is your yesterday, you know, like who were you a year ago and 10 years ago. So I think understanding that you are just so unique and that everybody has a different path, and especially as girls or women, you shouldn't be afraid. Don't be afraid to ask for anything. Don't be afraid to say stuff. Don't be afraid to even live your life to the fullest. I think we care so much about others that we, you know, get so scared what they're gonna say. But then I love listening to these like reels and on Instagram about like what these old people, you know, regret. And then usually they regret that something that they didn't do. They wish they would have done it. They never regret things they did. So every time I listen to this, I'm just like, okay, I don't want to regret things I didn't do, so I'm just going to do it. And if it works out, it works out. And if it doesn't, it was a good lesson to be learned, and it's going to make you stronger. So definitely, lately, I'm all for don't be scared. It's really like there's nothing to be scared about if you're living your life to the fullest. So believe in yourself, love yourself, take care of yourself and your needs and your wants, and check in with yourself, and everything will be okay.
Aww, that's making me a little emotional. That was so sweet. I actually just saw one of those reels recently. I always look at those as well.
I know.
Because it's such a reminder, honestly. No one, like, I feel like, especially when you're in 20s, everyone's telling you, or even 30s, oh, do this, do that, etc. And, like, this is not the right path, etc.
Yeah.
But, like, then you realize the people that, like, are more towards like the end of their life, like they're regretting the things that like maybe you're taking the chance to do, you know.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
Yeah, cool. Well, thank you so much for coming onto Brown Girl Unscripted.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. And for you guys, let me know what you guys liked, what you didn't like, what you guys want to see more. I'll have Khulan's information in the description, so definitely check her stuff out. Go shop her brand. It is so good. I tried one of your lip balms yesterday. It's so good. It's so moisturizing. But that being said, see you guys in the next episode. I love you. Bye.